Hey guys, this is Deepan Tech Space. Today we are going to see a new topic known as Python for machine learning because Python is a very powerful programming language, and you know that machine learning and deep learning is dominating the market right now. So and a lot of people have a problem in their mind, like I'm from a different background, man. For example, I'm from mechanical background or like from electronics. I don't know much about coding. I mean, particularly on an Indian scenario, during the engineering periods, what we do is like, only the computer science and the IT students learn, much about Python and other programming languages. But for the other streams, we don't learn more into like this programming languages. So we do have this, very big gap on, doing some application on our own using some programming languages. So today we are going to focus, the first episode of this particular series where you're going to learn a lot of information about Python, which is particularly can be used for machine learning and deep learning. So let's get started. So basically, what you want to do is, either we can go for a IDE. It can be any IDE which you want. For example, you can use PyCharm, and you can also go for a classical command prompt based execution. So that can also be, done, for Python. But in order to make things work better, it's better to go for a system which is actually more powerful. Because yes, Python is easy. You can run in any environment. For example, even in a Raspberry Pi, it is very easy. It runs very faster. So there's no other hardware requirement for doing it. But for machine learning and deep learning, we should have a powerful environment with us. So typically, not all the members who is watching this video will not be having the powerful system with them. So in order to make the battlefield equal for everyone, we are going to use an online platform. Yes, it's for free. You would have heard about it already if you are into this particular field. It's known as Google Colab. Yes. So we are going to utilize Google Colab to this fullest potential and utilize that particular IDE as an online platform. Using that, you're going to learn Python. Not only that, we are going to learn, machine learning and deep learning in the upcoming days. So stay tuned with me. Like, try to subscribe to my channel, and you will be getting weekly updates on the contents which I'm going to deliver. So first things first, we are going to go inside any web browser which you want. So just going to Google Chrome. So it's not like you want to use Google Chrome, you can use any browser you want. So all you want to do is go to the browser and type Google Colab, or you can even type the link colab.research.google.com. Else you can go to Google and you can type Google Colab. That will give you the first link to go inside this Google Colab. So as soon as I click it, it will land up in this particular page. So we will go to this, page a little later. But for the beginners who is going to log in for the first time in Google Colab, they'll be, getting this particular page. So this is the introduction page for Google Colab. So let me tell you about Google Colab. It's been maintained by Google and also developed by Google. So their, ultimate aim is to provide resource for each and every human being in this planet Earth to make sure they have a powerful processor with them so that they can able to do some machine learning and deep learning application, because machine learning and deep learning is a very big boom right now. So a lot of people are doing a lot of great application and it's being deployed, in the real time as well. So Google, break that barrier for people who doesn't have a powerful system with us. For example, in order to train some deep learning applications, you need a GPU. So not many have NVIDIA GPU with them, even though when they have NVIDIA GPU, the size of it may be like 2 GB or 4 GB. But Google Colab offers more than that. So it will give you a typical 12 to 16 GB of RAM and even 12 to 16 GB of GPU space. So that is more than enough to train a decent deep learning or machine learning application. So typically what happens is like whenever I connect this particular Google Colab in my browser, this get connected to a system which is in Google server. So typically it's like a long distance communication, but you won't get any lag for the same. So all it happens is like in a second where it just connect to a system that has some good specs with it. So let us understand like how this IDE works. So anyways, as I told you, once you like get accustomed with this particular area, you'll be getting this tab. So this tab has five tabs. Obviously, so this particular page has five tabs. So for example, example page is there. So where the Colab guys have given a lot of great examples here. So we're not going to go inside this particular thing. So recent tab will give you the contents which you have worked recently. So that's the thing. That's the second thing. The third one goes to your Google Drive directly. So if you have, account that is having some IPython notebooks in this particular Google Drive, which will be like automatically showcased, which will be like automatically displayed in this particular tab. So obviously, as I told, as I given an int like IPython notebook, yes, this particular, ID is an IPython notebook. Generally. So we'll go into this IPython notebook a little later. But anyways, let me finish the other two tabs. So GitHub. So if you have a GitHub repository that has all the IPython notebooks and all the stuffs within it, so you can always directly go to that particular repository and do the stuff. So that is also very easy and efficient, so that anyone can able to log into the particular GitHub repository. So that's like way more open source than utilizing contents in the Google Drive. So yes, if you're working on a research product that should not be like open sourced till it been finished, maybe you can use a Google Drive for the same. And also even you can save things in your local drive and upload those IPython notebook to the Google Colab directly. So we do have all the options which we want for an IDE. So as I was saying, IPython notebook. So let me like start up, go to file and create a new notebook. So once I click new notebook, it goes to another tab. It opens an IPython notebook. So typically IPython notebook, if you're not aware of it, it's just an interactive shell with a whiteboard as a background. So typically you can run all the Python programs and all the Python commands directly into the cells. When you can see this is a cell. So and also you have the power of putting text, images, and videos as an hyperlink in this particular program itself. So rather just having some dumb comments that doesn't make sense for a lot of people. So this is actually particularly mainly used for researchers and teachers who is going to teach this particular piece of code or something like that. So visually representing some pictures and some text blocks that will help, for other people to learn it, as easier as possible. So Google has maintained, make sure that it should be like user friendly for all the, area of peoples, not only for researchers, even for the product makers and even for hobbies like me and you. So that's why Google have made sure that IPython notebook has been in the particular thing. So so there are like a lot of things which we can explore. The first thing which I want to explore is the code and text tab. So you have options here. So if you add plus code, another coding cell will be like up to the next line. Okay, so you can write any code you want. So for example, if you want to print something, so this will be the first step. So hello world. So in order to print contents in Python, it's very easy. So it's like very intuitive. There is no other I mean syntaxes that you want to keep in mind. So it's very simple. What you want to do, you just want to print. If you want to print something, you can use the command print hello world. So followed by the quotation and the brackets. So if I want to run this, you can run this play button. So just running this play button will do the sufficient work for us. So here you can see, in the top right side, it is connecting to a runtime right now. And it's initializing. Once it is being connected, you will be like getting details of the processor which is being connected here. So here you can see, it is connected to PC that is having a 12 GB of RAM and a free space of like 107 GB. So that's like more than enough for us to work in a session. So you can see the output is directly printed at the immediate output, immediate cell. So that is how this interactive shell works. Okay, so it's like typically like if you have Python installed in your system, I mean this is how a Python interactive shell will be. Let me show you an example. Let me open a command prompt and it'll take some time. Yeah, just typing Python. So here you can do the same. Print hello world. So it just prints the output just like that. So that's what I'm saying. So it has the power of the interactive shell and also, which is like embedded on a whiteboard. So typically you can type and you can, display it very professionally. So for example, if I add a text here, so you can add hello world. So what I want to do is if you want to make it as a title, you can do it that. If you want to bold it up, you want it italicized. You have typically like a lot of options. So you can even add an image, insert a link. Somehow like format things. As per your wish. So basically whatever you do, the preview will be like shown here. So in this way you can able to understand like what is, what is actual output you're getting it out. So that's one thing. So once you like click out of that, you can be getting it like a cell. Okay, so we do have another option, like if you want like move this up, you can move it up just like this. You can add a comment. If you want to like edit it, you can edit it. Like if you want like if you want to like move this particular thing to a next cell, you can directly see like what is actually like being previewed. So there are like a lot of options. If you want to delete it, you can delete it right away. So there is an unused cell right now, so I can delete it out. Even you get the same option here when you over behind or above the cell, you will be getting the same option like code and text. You can also use that for writing text. So and one more point is like you can run either by clicking this or using the command control plus enter. So if I give control plus enter, it will run. So for example, control plus enter will run this particular instance. But for example, if you want like run the cell and go for the next cell immediately to type something, you could always use the command shift plus enter. So once you do shift plus enter, it goes to the next line. See, so where I'm going to print another line one. So shift enter. So it goes to the another line. So okay, I made some mistake here. Yes, there's a syntax error. Sorry for that. Butterfingers. So when I run it, it goes to the second line. So likewise, we can also, use shift enter to, dynamically type code, execute it, and go for the next line just like that, like a pro. Okay, so but that's not needed for now. So this is a basic introductory of, Google Colab. So we're not going to get started with the actual programming part right now. Okay, so let me go for the next option. So there are like editing options here. So we are not going to use much in this area because if you want to like cut cells, you can even, use the option like edit cut cells or selections, or you can do a lot of things here, but that's not, needed much for us right now. So the next thing is like if you want to like, the important thing is the runtime. Okay, so for example, if you want to run all the cells, you can use the command run all or run before. For example, if you are in this particular cell focused, if you want to like run before, the before contents will be like run. For example, if you have 100 blocks and you want, it's like very tough to run one by one again and again and right. So in that way, you can also do that. Or also focus cell. So this is the focus cell which I'm doing right now. I can also use this command run the focus cell, and that will run the particular cell. So likewise, we do have a lot of options here. Run selection, run after. So a lot of contents are there. So and another important thing which you want to which you want to note down is the change runtime type. So change runtime type is something like, Google Colab is powered with an GPU accelerator. So all you want to do is just, yeah, one second. So go to runtime, change runtime. Here you can see there is an hardware accelerator. So all you want to do is click there and go for GPU. So it automatically connects to another session that has a GPU with it. So typically whatever which you ask for will be done by Google. So I'm going to save it out. So here you can see it is allocating again. It is connected to a new workstation that has GPU with it. So let us like understand like what are the contents which we have in this particular system. So let me type in some codes to understand the processor which is get connected to this particular runtime. So CPU proc and then CPU info. So cat proc CPU info will typically, give you the information about the processor which is get connected to this particular runtime. So you can see I do have connected to two processor here. So both the processor are Intel Xeon. So it's a typical processor that runs in a workstation. Okay, so it's like as powerful as you can see. So it's like 2.2 gigahertz processor, dual processor there. So it's like more than enough for us to do, a decent stuff. So and also like there are like a lot of information which is given here. So which is not pretty, needed for us right now. So let us see like what is actual GPU, which is get connected to it. So now to do that, NVIDIA.SMI. So I enter it. So this NVIDIA iPhone SMI will give you the actual, GPU which just get connected. So here you can see Tesla K80. So it's one of the best processor which you can get. Processor in the sense of your GPU processor. So you can see, imagine, the size is just 12 GB of, content. So it's like 1144 MB. So obviously it's like 12 GB of graphics card is given you for free. So imagine how much process and how much thing can you can do, I mean, with this powerful GPU connected. So that is the beauty of Google Colab, right? I mean, you can do a lot of wonders with it. So I mean, imagine, I mean, I was just giving some commands, right? For example, cat proc info, I mean, cp info stuffs, right? So you would be like wondering, I mean, for the Linux user, I mean, that would be a piece of cake because these are all Linux code. I mean, typically this Google Colab has been like built on a Linux system. So if you want to like type in some Linux command, you can directly use the I mean, exclamatory mark followed by the commands, I mean, followed by your Linux commands. So that will typically execute all the Linux command which you know. So you can also, I mean, practice, or you can, I mean, look for some other contents if you want to like know about the processor or move some files here and there and something like that. So coming back to files, I mean, as I mentioned now, so on a runtime basis, for example, if you connect to your Google Drive, if you want to access some files, so on that time you can either connect to a Google Drive or you can clone a GitHub repository. So we will see that part later. So when we like, I mean, directly go and access some files and stuff, on that time we will see like how it happens. So for now, I mean, this is the basic of, I mean, an IDE. So where we are going to work, I mean, harder and stronger and make it, I mean, worth the while on learning Python for machine learning and deep learning. So do share this particular video to your friends and your circle who are in need of this particular technology. So we are going to go, I mean, as fast as possible, I mean, and also as clear as possible. So making sure everyone knows about Python and everyone can able to involve themselves in this particular machine learning and deep learning field. So stay tuned for that. Peace out.